Hi and welcome to another tutorial from Blender Insight. This time it's about creating a digital number as a shader where you can just change the number here to something and you will see that the shader also changes to what you put in as an input for the number. And the reason for this tutorial is mainly because it was a request after I posted it on Facebook. But we can start right away with a new project. So I just go to File and New and select a new project here. And as you can see, I normally use a plane, so I don't use the default cube. And that is because I mostly do shader stuff, so then it's good to have it, like a plane here. And I think I will take away the emission and just add the principal shader. So I press delete, shift A, go to shader and select the principal here and connect the BSDF to the surface here, so we have that in. Okay, so to do this digital number, it's mainly 3 steps. It is first to do 7 different LEDs, the lighting that you need to turn on and off depending on which type of number you want to create. And the second step is to place those LEDs so we get this digital 8, so everyone is lit and turned on the right place. And the final step is of course to be able to turn them on and off depending on what number you put in as an input. So if we start with just the first step to create that light, then we need to have some way of doing that. And my way was to add length to that, because that will create a circle, and then I do more like a tube out of that circle, and I can start with that. So I start with the UV, and in the UV I can then just put the length by pressing Shift A, go to Converter and a Vector Math. So in that Vector Math we have the length, so I select the length, but if I just take that from the UV here and out to the base color and turn on so we can see rendered view, you can see that it's dark here in the corner and not in the center. So I need to move that to the center because it's easier to work when we have everything at the center. And to do that I add 2 nodes between here, so press Shift A and once again some vector math. And the first thing I do is subtract, so I subtract by 0.5, which then will move in each direction, so I get it in the middle. And to have a range of -1 here to +1 here, I need to multiply this by 2. So I just press Shift D to do a copy and change this to multiply, and I change these two to 2. And now I have this centerpiece here that is built using the length here. Okay, so now we have this, but it's dark in the middle and it's round, so we have to inverse it and we have to expand it in some direction. So we have to play with these things here. You can see you can get some different things by just changing these. So, and you can also move that of course by just changing these here. So that is the movement. So by doing some math here, we can convert this circle into something that we can use instead. So to do it, we can add another multiply here, pressing Shift D and just copy it here and put that in here. So we get it like this. And then I can add a compare node, and compare node, it will work almost like a mask. So what you will get out from that is either white or black. So no grayscale or something like that, just a compare here. So Shift A and go to ordinary math, and here you will find something called compare. And if I now take up the values here, you can see that you get smaller or you get bigger here. And if I put that to 0.25 and I do the same here, then it will be filled in the middle. And now it's not round, it's more squared, which is perfect for our tube, and that is why I added this. So if I take that away and just connect it like this, you can see it's a circle. But if I now put in this here, you can see that I get one side that is like a line, and then we have this soft edge, and then a line, a soft edge. So it's more squared, and that works nice, because now we can then play with these things here to get the size that I want on the length and the height. So let's say that I put in 4 here and like 16 here, then you can see that yes, this is the middle part of my LED. And now I need to copy that one to have one up here, one down here, and then on the side as well, and then we will get our 8. So it's more or less just to move it around a bit here by using the correct values. So that means that we need like 8 of these, and that is just to make a node group out of it, and then we can reuse it and just put in new input values here. But before we do that, I think we can do just a little bit more, because now it's, as I said, it's just white and black because we use this compare node. And in my result, you could say that it was a little bit darker on the edges, and then it was really glowing in the middle. So it was some kind of fading of this. So let's add some fading to this before we continue. And that we can do. So if I take from this length here, instead of using compare, I can use the compare as well, but I will add some other stuff here after the length to make the fading. So if I do a subtract first of all, so Shift A, converter and a math, and put 1 here, then I invert the value, so we get everything that is 1 will then be 0 and so on. So it just inverts that using subtract. Then we can use the multiply here. So I press Shift A, converter, and put in a math, and put in multiply, and I do it like this. And then I add a multiply again. So Shift D, multiply here. And now I can connect that so you can see how it looks here. So when I change this here, you can see I can get it to be really fade or get sharper. So by controlling the value here, I can get a really soft edge or a little bit harder edge, and that we can use as an input from the outside of this group, so we can control that later on to get exactly the type of light that we want to. Okay, so then we have that fading here, and it's more or less just to take that mask and multiply that with the fading here. So then I press Shift A, converter, a math again, and I connect that, and we can put in a multiply. And now you can see it really looks nice already, because now we have white in the middle, and then you can see it's going a bit gray outside here. So now we have more or less all that we need to create one of these, and we need, as I said, like 8 more. So what we do now is that we can take everything here to like that, and just press Ctrl G to make a node group out of that. And then have some input in the beginning here to control the placement of this, and also what type of width and height it should be, and so on. Because now we have it on this direction, but if I just change the values here and do it the opposite, then you have it's standing like that. So by changing these, you can then control if you would like to have it standing or if it should be laying down. So very good to have that out, and this was the position, also a good thing to have out from this group. So what I will do now is that I will press Shift A, go to Converter, and here I can have a combine XYZ, because then it's blue here, but I can then put in values into this like that, and I can take those values right out to the group input. So I can put one X here and Y, so we can control that, and now we can move it from the outside. And then we do almost the same with the height and width here. So I take a Shift D to copy that one and put that in here, and I put a 4 here, and I put 16 here, and we can then just put in this like that. But instead of having those like X and Y, we can call them thickness and length or something like that. So then I go to the node here, go to this one, and we can call this, I don't know, what did we use for? That could be, I think that is the length. So if I change this, I can just test. Yes, you can see it's a length. So we keep that on 4, and we name that to length. Okay, and then the other one must then be the thickness. So then I select this one and call that thickness. So then we have that. So now we can control the look of this, and we can also control the placement of it from the outside. And then we have some output, and we can change the name from value to factor. So we just go to value here and put FAC. So we have that. And now we have the base for this. So it's just more or less to press tab to get it out. And this is one of our LEDs here. So what we do now is just go to properties here and change the name to LED. So now we have that. And we need in total 7 of these. So it's just to copy that 7 times. So we can go back a bit here, so because here will be some nodes here. So I just take it away here and then press Shift D some 7 times. Something like that. I have to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So then we have those. And to keep the value here, so we get one of that we have here and another one and then another one. Then it's just to keep the maximum value from each of these. So what it will do here is just to add a math node that calls maximum. So Shift A, converter math, put that in, connect that with this one, and I call that maximum. And to see that it works, then we can just move this in some direction, and you can see it works here, and 0.9 will work just fine. So we can keep it like that. So now we have 2 of those. We need one at the bottom, so then it's just to take the maximum here and the maximum here, and then we move this on the other direction, so something like that, 0.1, and then we have 1, 2, 3 of those, and you can now see the logic, I believe, that you will only just connect everything together here. So using maximum. So Shift A, converter, math, put in a max here, and just connect that with that one. And we do the same with the other one. So just Shift D, copy that one, put that together with this one. And do we have some more here? No, I think we can keep it like this. And then we just need to connect that. So we have one max that goes from that and that direction here to connect that with this one. So one Shift D again, connect that like this. And now I think everyone has some type of maximum connected to it. So we have one here, we have one here, we have one from that one, and we have one from that one, and that works okay. As long as it's maximum out, then it will keep all those values here. And now it's more or less just to move it around, and we have done the first, the second, and the third. And then we can do, I don't know, we should take perhaps that one, and then that one, and that one. We can do it in whatever order we want to, but it could be good to, we can start here, I think. So to do that, then we start with the number 4 here. And now it should be standing things. So I put 16 here and I put 4 here. And now I can see it's standing. And then we need to move it in the Y direction. So we move it up a bit, like that. And then we need to move it in the X direction. So that will be perfect. So then we have this one. And we do the same with the rest here. So it will be 16 and 4 for that one. And of course for all the other ones as well. So 16 and 4 on that one as well. And on the last one, 16 and 4 like that one. So now we should have 4 of these, and that looks okay. And then it's just to move around. So we said that the next one should be up here. So let's see if we can do that. We move this Y up a bit, like this, and then out. So we have it like that. So 0.7, 0.7 works fine for that one. And then we take the next, and that would be moving to here, I think. You can do it, as I said before, in whatever order, and I think I used another order when I did mine, but that doesn't matter. So we move this, and I think wrong direction, like that. And the final one, so C should be this direction and that direction. So you have now a digital 8 here. And then we could have a little bit of color to it, and it could be so that it's a little bit glowing and so on. And that will fix with the principle here. So we just add a mix RGB first. So Shift A, and we can add a color mix RGB into this one. And then we can just connect the maximum, or the value that we get from maximum, to the factor for the mix. And we can do one of these, and now you can see this will be the color of the LEDs here. So we can put it like this, really light, and that could be like black. So now we have that in. We would like it to be some glowing in this, so I put Shift A, converter, and a math that I will use as a multiply, because then I can put in how much it will glow when I put that to the emission strength. So I put that to the emission strength here, and I put the maximum value here, and the color for the emission could be the same as we use as up here. And now you can see that we can get everything from nothing to really bright here. And if you want to, you can also of course do a bump to this. So Shift A, vector bump, put that into the normal, and you'll use the maximum output here, and then you get all the bumps here. We can put a roughness that is rather low to this, like that. And you can play along with that. It's a normal principle, so you can do almost everything you want to make this look good. And you can also control the roughness using an invert maximum if you want that. So let's see that we put in, like, I don't know, Shift A, converter, and the math. Take that in, subtract here, put that to roughness, So I don't know, something like that perhaps. As I said, you can play with it as much as you want to. The tutorial is not about how you will make this perfect. It's more about creating the numbers. So a little bit less of a distance, and we get the glowing here, and yeah, it looks okay there. And now I'm running here in cycles. You can do this in EV as well. It will be almost the same result. The reason I run this in cycles is even if you get a little bit more bad result here, it's faster to work with the nodes when it comes to more complex things, because the EV needs to think and compile every time you add or change something here, and you don't have that waiting time when doing things in cycles. So when doing advanced stuff, just keep it to cycles until you are finished, then you can change to EV in the end as you want to. Okay, now we would like this to be different numbers. So let's say that we would like to have a number 1, or we would like to have 0, or whatever. So how should we do that? Well, what we can do is that we put in a multiply here, and if that is a multiply with 0, that will be turned off, and if it's a multiply with 1, it will be turned on. So if I put in a multiply here, I can just press Shift D after selecting this one and change this to a multiply. And if I put that to 0, you can see that this one disappears, and if I put that to 1, you have it here, and you can play with it as much as you want to, but it's best to just use it as a 0 or 1 here. And to get that value 0 or 1, depending on what you put in, I used color ramp, because in a color ramp you can then put in a small portion that should be white, another portion that should be black, and so on, to control it in intervals. What we need here is an interval from 0 to 9, because we need some from 0, 1 for 1, and then another one for 2, and 1 for 3, and so on. So what we need is the corresponding amount of color ramps as we have LEDs. And now we have 7 LEDs here, so we need 7 color ramps. So I start with 1 color ramp here and press Shift A, converter, and the color ramp like that. And then I can take the color here and put that to the multiply here. So now we have a controller here for the first LED that we're using. And what we can do with this one is now to change the linear into constant, because now it's either white or it's black. Now we need to divide this into from 0 to 9, meaning that we need 10 different of these. So we can just add an amount of these, and I don't know, you can see how many we have, and after that you can just go to distribute stops evenly, and then we get everything here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, I take away that one, and that one, and that one, and I think I will, yes, since I start with 0 here, this is 0, it's not 1, then it means that since I now have 10, I have 11. But we can start with 11 and then select distribute stops evenly, and then just take away the last one, because that is, it will never go into this exactly 1 here. So it will be this, and that will be the color for the last number 9. So we take away this, just press a minus here. So now we have 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of these, and we have constant here. and that is what we should use as a starting point. So now we can take that and just copy that to all the other LEDs as well. Do the same thing here. So Shift D, yes, so we have the same amount like that. I think we have it now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's correct. And for each of these, we just put in this multiply here. So Shift D, put that in, connect that to the next color ramp, select the multiply again, Shift D to the next color ramp, Shift D to the next color ramp, Shift D. Yeah, you see what I'm doing. Leave some room here, Shift D, we have one here, and we should have one left here, so Shift D, and put that in here. So now everything is turned off here because we have just black in here. Okay, so how can we get a number into this? Well, the range from the color ramp is from 0 to 1. So we need some input here that goes from 0 to 1, but we would like to put in a value from 0 to 9. So then we have to like divide it with 10, so then it will work. So we do an input, so Shift A, input a value here. And that will be our number, so we can put in 0, and then it will be first, and we can put in number 9, and then it should be the last one here. But to make it work, then we have to divide it, so Shift A, converter, and a math, and we divide it by 10, like that. But to not be exactly on the edge, to go a little bit further away, just to be sure, we can add just a little one of add here. So I press Shift D again, and I put in an add, and now I can put that in here, and it could be 0.05 or something, I don't know, something we put in. It doesn't matter, just so we have something. And then you can put that into this here, and put 0 here, and we can put the first one to white here, so we can see, now you can see that it's turned on, and if I put in 1 here, it's turned off. So 0 and 1. So we can control it now. So as soon as we use 0, this one will be turned on because that was the first LED that we used here. So then we just connect this that we have done to all of these color ramps. And then we have a controller for each of these. So we just take that, put it in, this divide all the way down here. So it's just to continue to put that to the factor for the color ramp. And the same with the last one. So every color ramp is now connected with our division here. So now we can just put in a value and everything should work. And we start with number 0, and number 0 should be everything except what we have turned on right now. So what we should do is put the first one to black. Then this one will be turned off. The next one will of course then be white, turned on, and that is the top. And if I remember correct, this will be the bottom, so we turn that to 1. And then we had this one here, so we turned that up as well to 1. And we had the other side here, and that should also be 1 like that. And after that, it was that, and it's just to turn that on as well. So just white of that like this, and the last one down here, it's like that. So now we have a 0 here. So as soon as I change this to be 1, you can see that now it's black again. and now you have your 0 here. So everything here, even the negative values, will be 0. And next step is to turn on 1, and that will be those two that are on that side. So yes, let's count this. So the first one was in the middle, not interested for this one. The next one was on that one, and then the third one was in the bottom one, and then this was on that side, not interested with that one. But I think this one should be, you have to test at home, but it should be that one, and that's correct because that is the first one of what we would like to have. Then we come to this, and then the last one was that one. So this should be the last one here that I then change to white, and then I get my number 1. So here I have my 0, and now I have my 1 here. And then it's just to continue. So let's see, this first one was in the middle. Yes, we need that for the number 2. You can see when you go to, it's very easy to calculate because this is number 0, 1, 2, and you can see here that it says 0, 1, 2. So if you need to see exactly where you are, it's just to click on that and it will be correct here. So to make a 2, I think we need 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here, but not that one. So all the 3 first one should be white in that case. So we just put that one to white, and we can change this to number 2. It's easier to see that we're doing the correct things then. So and then number 2 here should also be white, and the next one should be white. And then we need to turn, let's see, 2. It will be that, and it will be that. So we jump 1 here, and then it will be this one here. That should be white, if I calculate correct, yes. And the next one should be white as well. And then we have a 2. So that is number 2. So now it works with number 1. And it works with 0, and it works with 2, of course. So when I put in 2 here, you can see it's 2, and then you can go to 3, and then 3 is the first 3, because those are that one, and that one, and that is what we need here. So it's just white, white, and white on that one. And then we need not the first one but the next one, so it will be this one here, and not that one but the next one, so it is the last, number 3, and put that up here, and then we get that like this. So that is how it works, and I can do this for a complete tutorial, but I think you have understood how it works right now. So it's mostly for you to just go in, change your value, think about what should we turn on and what should we turn off of these to get your correct number lit on your display here. So it's not harder than that. Then you can of course do some fancy stuff here. If you want to change your colors, you have that here. So if you want to have like blue or purple or whatever, you can just change that, and you have your emission strength here, so you can change that. And if you use EV, so you go to EV, then you can of course also turn on bloom to make more light coming from this. And if you want to play with fall off here of the LED, then you have to change the LED value here and put out some value that you can play with. So if I click on this, press Ctrl G, it doesn't matter what you select here, as long as it's just one LED you select. Pressing Ctrl G, no sorry, press Tab of course. press tab, and then you connect this here with, then you can control how much it will glow here. So the fall off from the edge is controlled by this. So then you can take that and just connect it with the outside here and call that, I don't know, fall off like this perhaps. And when you then go back, you can see that you have another output here, and now they should all be the same, because if you just change one, it looks very strange. It looks like your display is broken in some way. So you need to connect the value, so you can take that value like that and just press Shift D and put that value on all the fall off. So we put one here and just go all the LEDs down until you have turned everyone on with your fall off here. So it's just to connect everything here, and I think there are a few more. I can just move that one so I can see. So put that to this one, and I have one left here, and now everything should be really bright, and then it's just to put this a little bit lower. So then we have a control of the fall off here, and then you can combine this value here for fall off together with the strength of your emission strength here, so you can get exactly the thing that you want. You can of course play with the bloom here to change the threshold and the knee and radius and so on, how much you want this to glow in Eevee. And if you're doing in cycles, then you can do it in the compositor to get this glow instead. But that is how I did everything. Now you perhaps wondered, how could I connect this to my counter down here? So it changed there. Well, it's just that you need to have an input here that is the same as this. And what I did in the post was that I posted 3 different planes, and I did 3 different materials where I calculated 100 to get the first number, 1/10 to get the second number, and took the last number on the third plane. So it was 3 different materials, and I can show you just the easy one to change here. So first of all, you need to put this to a driver called frame. So you write first this tag, and then you write frame with small letters, and you could see now that you put here a value and then you get that value here. So if I just change now, you get this to change exactly as you had done with this. Now we did only see up to 3, so after that this go black, and then we would like that to be repeated all the time, so we can put in some math between here. So press Shift A, converter, put in a math, and we can do it like, I think we can use a modular here. So if I see if I can find it, it should be here somewhere. Could be it's too big for me to see, but let's see. There we have it. So modular, and I put this to 10 here, and now you can see that, okay, 1, 2, 3, and then blank because we have nothing. But now when we come to 0 again, then it follows this. So there you see 3, 2, and then blank, and that is because we only built the 3 first, but you can easily just connect more and more, and then you have this. So that is a little bit how it works, and I think you know the technique behind, and then you can of course play with this and connect it to whatever type of mathematics that you want to. So if you want to make like a timer, or if you want to make it to follow the frame here or something else, it's completely up to you. But this is the technique, how you connect it and how you build this LED and positioning and so on. So hopefully you now know how it works and can make your own digital numbers really easy using your own shader. So see you later, and bye for now.